So today we're taking a road trip to a place that carries like towing supplies, trucking stuff, you know,
auto transport, rigging for cranes, load securement, anything to do with like the trucking industry for tying and strapping things down or rigging to lift stuff.
Yeah, I think they have tarps too.
Yeah, and it's up here in the northern part of Ohio, and we're gonna go up here and see what they got. I was gonna order some stuff online, but it's worth a day trip to run up and see what they got in person and save the money on shipping, because all this stuff is heavy. So if you're gonna get it shipped, you're gonna pay an absorbent amount to get it shipped to you. So it was cost effective for us to drive up. So we're getting close. So we're here waiting for them to fill the order. It's not a very big order. I think there's 14 pieces total, 16, and about 10 of them are 3/8 slip hooks, or grab hooks, I mean. Now the reason we drove up here is you can get these hooks online for like $3.40 to some say $2.99, but by the time you add shipping in, most of them are averaging out quite a bit higher. So we drove up here. I got two 12-foot long, half-inch chains with grade 70. Everything I'm doing is grade 70 except the Omega rings. They have a grab hook on each end, which I want for the record, and I got two Omega rings because the company that I ordered them from is out of stock. So without contacting me, they just refunded my money and sent me an email. So I just decided we'll make the day drive. So we're just waiting for them to fill this order. But it was far cheaper. My half-inch chains I'm getting here are 12-foot long and have a half-inch grab hook, grade 70, 11,300 pound working load limit. They're again 12-foot long, and they're $59. And if you know anything about chains, $59 is a decent price. They sell bulk half-inch chain here, and it's basically $3.49 a foot, which isn't a bad price either. It's grade 70. So they have heavier duty stuff. Like they make a choker assembly that is designed with an Omega ring on one end, so you can wrap an axle, feed the chain through the Omega ring, and then use a binder to hold it down to your wheel lift. We don't have a wheel lift. That kit's like $169, I think. So you get two, I think there's 6-foot chain lengths plus the ratchet binder. And they have those short ratchet binders where, it's still a 3/8 or whatever. I think they're ready. No?
I don't know, I heard something.
Heard something. Not sure. Yep, they're ready. Let's get our order. Okay, so we're all loaded. We'll show you what it is when we get back. Since we're out running around doing errands, we're gonna head over and look at something else here. You guys probably won't see it though. We didn't show you the inside of the place because I got a short little video, but it's really just samples. They're really set up for online sales. They're not really set up for people to come in. Like they have samples, maybe one of each of some of the stuff they sell, but again, it's not really set up for brick and mortar as it's used to called. But anyways, good deal. Everything we got today was substantially cheaper, especially with no shipping. If you figure out what it cost me in fuel to drive up here and the time it took, I'm still saving money. So let's move on. So this is what I got from that place. I picked up two 12-foot long, half-inch, grade 70 chains. When I'm looking for chains, I want to see the grading on the hook and on the chain itself. Every so often on the links, it's supposed to be stamped what grade it is, and that's grade 70. Let me think what there is. There's grade 30, 43, 70, 80, 100. There may be others. Those are the ones we know. So I got two of those chains for the wrecker, that fifth wheel wrecker unit, because that one I was using, that great big hook, it is just heavy. It's big, it's massive, there's always a lot of extra chain. These are 12-foot long each, double hooked. I think it's going to work a little bit better. Also, these are the Omega rings that I was waiting for. These are grade 80s. I don't need grade 80, but I need this diameter. And the ones they had, the grade 80s were the right diameter. So I picked those up, and then I picked up 10 of these hooks. These are grade 70s. They're for 3/8 chain, because I've got chain after chain after chain laying around that I want to put hooks on so we can use them. Now, that being said, just because it's a 3/8 chain doesn't make it a grade 70. So what I'm doing here is, one, I'm making the same length so I can have specific purposes for these chains. But what I have to do is I have to measure the links. These are 3/8 chains. These are 3/8 chains. This is a 3/8 chain, but they're not all the same grades. And the way you find that out is you can go online, you can download a chart, and it'll tell you like 5/16 chain, grade 43, the thickness of the chain itself. Ooh, look at that thin spot. I gotta cut that out. The thickness of the chain right here, you can measure that with a micrometer, and the thickness of that will tell you basically what grade chain it is within reason. I believe the grade 43 and the grade 70 on a 3/8 measure out the same. So if there's no stamping on it, safe thing to do is go with the lower grade. So that's what we're doing. I'm going to put all of these as a grade 43. I got two examples over here. These are both 3/8 chains, and it's very difficult just in eyesight to see the difference with the blind eye. But when I measure it, this one's a grade 70, this one's a grade 43. So just because I put grade 70 hooks on them doesn't mean they're grade 70. Whatever the chain is good for, you're only as good as your weakest point. Okay, since we got those parts for the wrecker I showed you, I'm going to get to work on it. So this is the Omega joint. What we're going to do is take this chain. Right now, currently, the chain's one piece. It comes in, goes over top of that pin, and comes back down. And that's letting that plate shift side to side, which I need to eliminate. Plus, you're only as good as your weakest link. So this is considered one chain right now because there's one link holding all of this over top of that. So what we're going to do is create two links. So we're going to take inside that boom, we're going to slide the Omega ring over that pin and then attach one here for this chain and one for this chain, effectively now making our lifting ability 22,600 pounds. This is grade 80. Okay, this Omega ring that I bought two of them. This is grade 70. You're only as good as your weakest link. So we're grade 70. But now we have two grade 70s. So we got, instead of 11,300, we got 22,600. So let me get that loose and start cutting some links. I'm going to take, right now, I'm going to figure out, we need this about 2 links from here, what we can physically see, which means probably 2, 3, 4, maybe 4 links on each side. So we'll start with that. So this is the pin that goes through there, and this is how the chain was just grinding on this thing while we were using it. Look how big indentions it made. This is exactly why I don't want to do that. I want to do it right. Our Omega ring, let it rest just like that, like it should be, and let it swing like it should. So I'm probably going to go ahead and put some never sees on this because I don't think this is going to be the last time we have to pull that chain out, that pin. So I'll get some never sees on there so I can look like the Tin Man. It never fails. You put any, I'll wait till we're done, but just till I got it all set up. But I put any never sees anywhere and I wear it for days. I don't get it. Keep finding it in places I didn't know it was. Alright, so there's what we're trying to get. And you can see here, I still need to cut the bottom of this so this can come this way. But we're getting there, we're getting better. I mean, I'm okay with it rubbing up against the sidewall. I prefer it not to, but also it's going to be tilted back some more. So that's going to make a difference. Alright, let's cut that length.
Okay, so we're gonna cut this off. He measured and checked it out real well, and he thinks if we take this much off on each side, that it should stop the chain from hitting on the side there. So we're gonna go ahead and get it cut.
Yes, I know, no safety guard. No guard on the cutting wheel, blah, 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 no glove.
You have safety glasses on.
No.
Did you forget?
Yeah, no knee pads, no gloves. I'm not wrapped in bubble wrap. I know, I got it. I hear you. Alright, now we're going to put the chains back in and see what it looks like. So this is the geometry we've been after this whole time. I have a chain right here, temporary, holding us up, but I have it sitting where it would rest on the top pin, and we're plumb up, where we'd be plumb up against the truck, and we're in parallel with the truck frame. And we want this to be parallel. That's the goal here. So by doing that, all of our weight as far as these is just to keep this from banging into here. Now if you look how this works and you see how the severe angle the chain is, that tells me this boom is just wrong. We keep talking about this boom is wrong. This boom needs to be a little bit longer, and it should be straight, I think. And if I redo this boom, I am not going to put these two omega rings inside. I think that's a bad idea, because you can see we got interference here, so they're going to rub because it's not quite big enough, and it's going to pull on the edge of this, which is going to lead to a crack right here eventually. So I want to put them on the outside. So we'll stick a spacer, a pin, a spacer, and then a plate. But on the new boom, we're just going to probably reinforce this a little bit so it doesn't break, and see how she does. I'm thinking probably a plate underneath here just for temporary. I thought about cutting some of this out and redoing this weld, but if it didn't break on that 28,000 pound truck, I don't think it's going to break on the 17,000 pound truck we're going to tow next. So that's what we're going to do now. So now I've shortened these up. I've taken, what did I say, 8 links out?
I think it was 9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 9 total, because I had to cut 2 links. So, still not happy with it. I don't like this angle of the chain. I want that chain straight up and down. And the only thing that's changed since we towed the other truck is the height. So when you bring the height up where we need to be, look how far away from the truck we are. I mean, I want my boom to be almost, just a few inches behind here just for interference. I mean, we're talking like 3 inches, and we're currently, from that plate, we're about, I don't know, near a foot. But anyways, that's what we're going to go with. I'm going to put the pin in. We're going to tighten this stuff up. We got another truck to tow. These are some U-bolts I had laying around from God knows what. But I'm going to cut them down. They're going to be retainer hooks for me. Let me get these. I'm going to cut them down to about 7 inches, I think, something like that. So let me get them cut off, and then I'll show you what we're going to do with them. So securing this thing down is a big pain in the butt. So I'm going to put these on the front of here so that I can use the outside and wrap a chain around, or I can use the inside, bring a chain up through and go that way, You know, I can either come from the bottom up and over and under. I can come from the other side up and over and then down through this way. There's a lot of options right there. So we're gonna stick that right like that. And I'm gonna weld on both sides, inside and outside of both legs. But first I gotta, you know, clean it up with on the bench grinder. All right, so I weld this one in. I'm in the middle of welding this one, and the furnace kicks on. It starts blowing my argon away. That sucked, but I got both of them in. So that's really gonna make it nice because I'll be able to hook on the chain and come in the center from this way, or I can come over here, come around and under, or I can come from the inside, whichever way I need to manipulate to get it set up right. And that's like, I don't even know what the thickness is of that bar. That is 3/4 or 7/8? 7/8. So it's 7/8 bar, or 7/8 U-bolts. And you figure that's strong enough to hold the leaf spring pack and the suspension together on a semi, so, or a medium duty truck, so that ought to be enough. Well, we are sitting on the flat of the frame right here. You can see that's right where it starts to bend off. So once we pull that down, we can get our chain in here or back here, whatever, and hopefully we're good. So let's see what the chain looks like, how it works. So this is what I was trying to accomplish. It not only gives me a place to run the chains over, but it also keeps it from shifting side to side, and it's going to limit the movement front to back. So then this one comes up and over, and it's got binders underneath too. So that's as far as I'm going to go with that, because the next thing we're doing is going to be the slide plates underneath, and I've got some other changes, and I'm really tired of talking about changes on this thing. What about you, lady? Yeah. She's sick of it too. I think this is the last tow with this one. I think this is going to be it. Once we're done with this, I'm happy with what I've learned to where I'm ready to build one. So this may be the last. I intend to build another one, is what I'm saying. So we'll see. Hopefully this goes well. But the Omega joints are going to work better, because now I'm not going to have this thing, you know, shifting side to side. It'll go some, but it's going to limit. You know, one side's going to come up a little bit, the other side's going to come up a little bit when it turns, but it's not going to let it dip down. That's what I needed, because that was an issue. And I think that's all the changes we're going to make. So let's go hook it up to a truck tomorrow.
Okay, he's just getting ready to pull in here. Looks like we made it safe. I'm gonna go in here so I can try to help watch the mirrors on the side. Alright, I gotta go guide him back. Guess I better move his creeper out of the way. Okay, come back. Okay. Takes a while for the air to go down, huh? Takes a while for the air to go down, huh?
I gotta air it up. Remember, this is leaking.
Oh, you're airing it.
Brand new fuse.
Yeah. Yeah, we heard it hissing last night.
That pin, I still forgot to grind the weld on the bottom of this pin to get the carpet up. There's a ring. See You have to the pin?
Yeah, you'll have to talk loud because that truck's loud.
I'm going to back up a little bit. Go ahead and get the cord off.
Okay. You want me to do that, you said? Do you want me to do that?
Yeah, you can.
Because I can't hear you.
You can take the light bar off.
Okay.
I'm going to back this up a little bit.
Alright.
So I get loose. See, I got no pressure on this, but we're still tight. It's better. Every time we make changes, it's better. But because when you get this thing where you need it, to where this is level, you end up with this so far away from here that it pulls on that plate back like this. And it shouldn't do that. That thing needs to be, when this plate's plumb, this boom should be just a few inches, maybe 4 or 6 inches, something like that, behind that plate that's plumb. And it's not. It's over a foot. And it puts that chain at a heck of an angle. It messes with so many things. We're going to stick a fork in it. I'm going to sell it.
Wow. Alrighty then. That's good. It's good. Looks good. It looks like it's loose enough to get the chains off.
Now it's pouring.
I know. I'll bet that turns to snow anytime. Because it's supposed to.
I'm not going to take the unit off the truck right now, but it's coming off, for sure.
That's crazy. The rain just turned to snow, just like in a few seconds.
One good thing for my hooks on top, help my cord.
You ready for me to take the light bar off, or in a minute?
Alright, I'm going to the truck forward so we can go in the garage. Okay, so we're back and we got the truck backed inside. Of course, it started raining again and it did better. I will say that we reset this fifth wheel to where this was more straight up and down. That was definitely a little bit nicer. I can tell you that the next thing that should happen is that pivot needs to move up here 6 inches. That would solve a lot of the things we have going on right now. However, when you do that, I'm going to question a few other design ideas. However, the subtle changes I made, the small changes this time, my U-bolts that I welded on to hold it down worked fantastic. I was going to drill a couple holes here, put plates underneath that slide underneath the frame rail to sandwich it in place. I'm not going to do it. I have gone as far as I'm going to go on this thing. The Omega joints worked out well. It didn't bend this down here at all. And that's not a light truck. It was fairly heavy. It works. So that's where we're going to stop. I'm not doing any more changes that I know of to this unit. I'm done with it. The next step is to build my own. I'm gonna put this up for sale. I'm gonna sell it because I know what I want and what I don't want, and I can build the one that I want now and make the changes I want to make and go on from there. what I'm gonna do also is probably use my other wrecker unit I have that is part of an old Holmes bed, and I'm gonna bolt it to a truck permanently in the meantime until I get time to build what I want. I don't have to have this big a truck to use this, because I'm pulling trucks from the back, or, I mean, the worst we're talking is 28,000 pounds. I don't need this all-out road tractor. I could do with something much smaller, but it's convenient to have this truck because we move trailers with it and some other stuff. But this is probably the end for this. I don't think we're going to do any more videos, no more series on this. I think we're done. I've improved what I needed to improve. I think it's better than it was by far from when I got it. So that's what it's going to be. The toolbox up front works out very well because we can get on the catwalk, get everything we need. Even though I believe when I build my own, I will come off my fifth wheel plate here with this, like he did with that 2x2 box tubing, and I will bring it all the way out here on the front and the back and put a toolbox going right here so that I can have bigger toolboxes with everything in the side, and then I'll have to get up on top of the frame. That was definitely something I didn't think it would be a big deal. It's really not, but if I didn't have to and I could get down here to do it, it'd be much easier. The airlift works well. It lifts no matter what I put underneath it. There's plenty of airbags there. The geometry is correct now. We got it straight. However, the bummer to that is this boom. When you get this thing straight and it comes up, when it goes from that angle to straight, this gets longer. Takes that knuckle out of there, and it gets longer, so we're way away from the boom, and it puts them chains at one heck of an angle. So that, if I was going to use it anymore, I'd change that boom. I would either cut that boom right there, make changes to where it doesn't come down as far, to maybe the angle's not quite as steep. Instead of being, I don't know if that's a 45 or not, but regardless, I would come off with a less steep angle and come out farther and have my chains out farther. That's what I think. I need to interrupt. When I talk about the other unit and I say that boom needs to come out farther so the chains are straighter, that's true to a point. The real problem is on the other unit, where it comes off of there, it is adjustable, but it's not adjustable in a way that works for hooking up a truck. As it is now, you back up to a truck and you have to get that just right underneath there by backing the truck up just close enough. And that takes time. It takes too much time, really. And what ends up happening is, because the way it is, it's sitting basically like this one is right now, where it's straight. It's almost straight. That plate is straight up and down with the boom. That when you're coming up, this gets longer because we're taking the bend out of that thing, and this creeps up this way. So you end up with those chains like this. What needs to happen on that other unit is, I misspoke. The boom doesn't need to be longer as much as the actual plate assembly we're hooking to needs to be adjustable like this. It's adjustable now. If you remember up at the top on the other unit, you can change the bolts. Well, that's fine, but it doesn't help when you're trying to hook to it because we don't have fine adjustments. You can't roll the truck back and forth to get close enough to get hooked up. So you're constantly back and forth with the truck trying to get it just right. On this old Holmes unit, you pull these, I believe this is a Holmes, you pull this up and you turn it 90 degrees. There's a pin that goes down in here and it locks this box tubing from moving. So when you back up to a truck, you get close, you pull these pins out, you turn them, you can slide this thing as close as you want. So you're far away from the truck. And then what happens is you get all hooked up and you start to lift. And as soon as you start to lift, if you're pulling from the back, you know, your parking brakes on the back of the truck. As soon as you start to lift, the weight pushes this in to where, before you lift, you turn these back so they can slide back into the grooves where they belong. There's a keyway that goes across there. As you start to lift, the weight pushes it in. And because it pushes it in and you're lifting, your boom is already away from the truck. So that's what needs to happen with that wrecker, with that bottom boom. This needs change like this. And you can see what kind of force this is set up to take. This is set up to take some serious weight. So I just wanted to clarify that because I kept saying that the boom is too short and this and that. And after thinking about it, really, this is the problem. It needs to be adjustable on the bottom so we can slide that boom out, get hooked up, and then start lifting. So let's go on with the rest of the video. So you see what I'm talking about. Right now we're about plumb. So when we back up to a truck, we need to be down low. And there's no way to extend this. So if I'm 1/2 inch off one side and 2 inches off the other side, I can turn the plate. But when you turn the plate, you change your centering. You're no longer centered like you were. That other unit I just showed you, you pull those pins and you can manipulate that thing however you see fit. You can actually pull it to one side, which makes it a little easier. That's the next thing that needs to be repaired on this. And quite honestly, I don't see me changing that. I think I'm going to leave this alone. I think now it's time to move on. I'm done with this unit. I think I've improved it all I want to improve it, and I've learned all I want to learn off this. So I think we're just going to move on to either building my own from scratch, or I'm going to buy a wrecker, or I'm going to take that wrecker unit I just showed you and put it on a truck permanently, which that's probably going to happen anyway, so I can have a truck around all the time. The only question is if I'm putting on a tandem axle truck or a single axle. I did buy a really nice little truck the other day that would probably work well like that, but we'll get into that some other time. But that's where we're at. That's a change I think needs to happen. Is this needs to have a way to be pushed against the truck and then sucked back in once you lift it. Because currently that's really close to where I would like it to be, and then be able to, like when it's sucked up so it's about straight, and then when we're hooking up, pull the pin so it can come out and be at an angle, you know, the opposite way of what we have right now. Anyways, that's it for this one, guys. I hope you got a look at it and how it worked and all that and what have you, but we're done with this one. Some of the next videos coming up, we're going to talk about the truck that unit's sitting on, what it is, all about it, why I bought it, why I think it's a great truck, and we'll get on to the truck that we towed in with this one, and we'll start talking about the repairs on it. This one, I haven't done anything else. The head's still sitting there because, I did turn it around the shop and back it in, give us some more room. When I finished that, the next 3 days I spent looking at trucks, buying trucks, transporting trucks. So actually it's been almost a whole week now. But we're going to get back to the other truck we have and see, that has the same motor, see if we got a good head. That'll be the next step on that one. We'll bring you along if you're interested. All right, guys, that's all we got for now. If you like what we're doing, give us that thumbs up. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Leave your respectful comments down below, and we'll catch you on the next one.
But not great.
Yeah, here's the same thing I keep messing with on this thing. This boom sucks. This right here sucks. It sucks, it sucks, it sucks.
Wow. Alrighty then.